You might be surprised to learn that improper food reheating can subtly impair your health, especially as you age. Unbeknownst to many, it can impair digestion, raise inflammation, and even impact your memory and equilibrium. Studies in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have highlighted these risks, detailing the long-term effects of specific reheated foods on older adults. Reheating leftovers might seem harmless, but for several common foods, this process can diminish their nutrients or transform them into compounds that silently strain your heart, blood sugar, and joints, systems essential for maintaining your strength and independence after age 65. This discussion will explain which foods seniors should never reheat and, conversely, which ones, when properly warmed, actually become healthier. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll reveal one common meal that could be steadily harming your health with each serving. Let's begin by discussing the foods you should be reheating, because when prepared properly, they can significantly improve your daily mobility, energy, and memory. Foods to reheat for enhanced health. 1. Oatmeal, a cozy hug for the tummy and the mind. Mornings often hold a silent power for seniors entering their golden years, a chance to start again, slowly and deliberately. A warm cup of oats beautifully embodies that spirit. However, many people are unaware that reheating oatmeal can actually increase its advantages rather than diminish them, particularly for aging bodies that need nourishment without stress. A unique metamorphosis takes place when oats are cooked and then chilled. The starches begin to undergo structural changes, creating a type of carbohydrate known as resistant starch. This starch is difficult for the small intestine to digest. When reheated, these resistant starches remain intact and continue to nourish the beneficial bacteria in the gut, strengthening digestion, enhancing blood sugar regulation, and reducing inflammation throughout the body. This goes beyond mere science. For individuals over 65, it's profoundly beneficial. As we age, blood sugar levels often grow more erratic, and digestion frequently slows. Reheated oatmeal provides a consistent, low glycemic energy source that stabilizes mood and focus, keeping you fuller for longer by releasing energy gradually, not abruptly. The advantages, however, are even more profound. Beta-glucan, a soluble fiber found in oatmeal, is known to lower LDL, or bad cholesterol, thereby promoting heart health. This small daily routine transforms into a silent act of prevention for elderly people at risk for cardiovascular problems. Additionally, oatmeal is naturally mild, easy on the stomach, and infinitely adaptable, unlike many breakfast options filled with added sugars or saturated fats. Adding fresh blueberries, chopped walnuts, or a dash of cinnamon not only enhances the flavor but also introduces potent antioxidants, the body's natural defenses against aging cells. In more sentimental ways, the warmth of reheated oats also provides consolation. It's recognizable, simple to understand, and metaphorically anchoring. It's more than just food on chilly mornings or when you're feeling drained. It's a nurturing reminder that even little routines can create a healthier day and a healthier life, and it's a kind gesture of self-respect. Most people don't think about this. Not many warm meals provide such rewards, but oatmeal fortifies from the inside out. Some may seem comforting, but when reheated, they can become subtly hazardous, causing problems beyond digestion, potentially impacting your long-term vitality, joints, and nerves. 2. Vegetable soup, a mild remedy for the soul, joints, and immunity. During the peaceful late afternoon hours, when the body begins to feel the weight of the years and the light softens through the windows, a warm bowl of vegetable soup has a deeply restorative effect. It's not just comfort food, it is the wisdom of the ancestors poured into a bowl. Furthermore, for elderly people, particularly those navigating the intricacies of aging bodies, reheating vegetable soup is more than just a practical option. It's a process of replenishing vital nutrients that gradually gain strength and richness. A homemade vegetable soup actually becomes more nutrient-dense the next day. Why? Because, unlike many processed meals, the cell walls of robust vegetables such as sweet potatoes, carrots, celery, onions, and leafy greens begin to decompose when they are boiled gently and then allowed to rest. This releases minerals and plant compounds that weren't entirely available during the initial cooking process. When reheated, the soup becomes a concentrated source of antioxidants, phytonutrients, and hydration, all three of which are particularly important for older individuals. Age-related immune system deterioration makes the body more susceptible to joint stiffness, respiratory infections, and inflammation. However, a well-reheated vegetable soup serves as a calming defense, particularly if it is enhanced with parsley, turmeric, or garlic, while the anti-inflammatory substances begin their subtle process of soothing the body from the inside out. The warmth promotes circulation, gradually opening blood vessels and relieving cold extremities. For people who have trouble eating, a common problem among older folks, particularly on days when eating seems like a bother, soup is an approachable, readily digested meal that doesn't overpower the senses. Its mild consistency and warmth provide nourishment without requiring effort, supporting the maintenance of strength, hydration, and nutritional intake. Consideration must also be given to emotional sustenance. Carefully prepared and purposefully reheated, a pot of soup evokes memories of earlier kitchens, family get-togethers, and simpler days when food was more than just fuel. Every spoonful represents a return to something comfortable and familiar, a moment away from the hectic world to take care of oneself in the most basic manner. Additionally, soup provides a means to incorporate medicinal herbs and vegetables rich in minerals without using harsh spices or heavy fats, which is beneficial for anyone with high blood pressure, arthritis, or poor digestion. It is a kind of food that is kind, warm, and forgiving, and it adapts to the body's changing demands. 3. Brown rice, a low-key basis for longevity, heart health, and strength. Simple meals, calm, grounding, and unyielding, all possess a certain wisdom. Among these, brown rice is humble and frequently overlooked in favor of more vibrant dishes. However, when gently reheated, this humble grain can provide seniors with something much more significant than flavor. Its slow-burning strength, stability, and structure support every step, every heartbeat, and every independent moment. Unlike white rice, brown rice retains its bran and germ layers, which are natural sources of fiber, B vitamins, magnesium, and selenium, nutrients the aging body desperately needs. Like oatmeal, brown rice develops resistant starch when it is cooked and then chilled. The beauty, however, is in what follows. Properly reheating brown rice, either by steaming it gently or warming it with a little water, makes these complex carbs easy to digest and releases energy gradually without taxing the pancreas or raising blood sugar levels. This is a significant detail for elderly people who are managing heart disease, type 2 diabetes, or slow digestion. Reheated brown rice helps sustain consistent energy levels throughout the day, avoiding the slumps and exhaustion that so frequently rob everyday activities of their delight. Additionally, it helps the gut microbiota by nourishing good bacteria that control inflammation, mood, and immunity. Magnesium, which is plentiful in brown rice and frequently reduced in older persons, is essential for nerve function, blood pressure regulation, and muscle relaxation. It is particularly important at night when restlessness and leg cramps can disrupt sleep. With each warm serving, reheated rice becomes more than just a meal. It turns into a means of internally strengthening, calming, and stabilizing the aging body. Then there is the sentimental value of rice, its association with coziness, family gatherings, and the aroma of home. Convenience isn't the only reason to warm leftover rice, it's a return to a routine, a tiny gesture of kindness that lets the body know it's still being cared for, strong and growing. The best part is that brown rice fits into the senior kitchen with ease for a nutrient-dense, easily digestible, and incredibly fulfilling dinner. Combine it with lentils, soft vegetables, or a splash of olive oil. It turns into a dependable, adaptable mainstay for people who have trouble with complicated meal preparation, serving as a literal and metaphorical basis for healthy aging. While brown rice gradually increases our energy levels, not all reheated foods have the same effect. In actuality, certain cherished foods may subtly betray the very organs they previously soothed when reheated. What if the dish you microwave next time is subtly harming your nerves, heart, and possibly memory? What you're about to learn could permanently alter your perspective on leftovers. Foods seniors should never reheat. 1. Cooked mushrooms, the hidden threat under the surface. Mushrooms are a healthy and earthy food that connects us to the land, to the natural world, to something ancient and rooted. Because they are low in fat, high in antioxidants, and easy on the stomach when prepared fresh, mushrooms seem like a healthy option to many seniors. However, there is a little-known reality concealed beneath their velvety texture. Reheating cooked mushrooms can subtly ruin a healthy dinner, especially as the body grows more delicate with age. The complex proteins and amino acids found in mushrooms are advantageous when they are fresh, but they are also sensitive and susceptible to change when heated. These proteins alter structurally during the initial cooking of mushrooms, which facilitates digestion. However, when refrigerated and then reheated, especially if done improperly, the same proteins may undergo a second denatured state, changing into substances that the body may no longer be able to properly handle. A younger person might not notice this. However, it can cause discomfort, bloating, and even nausea in older adults whose gut sensitivity is higher and their digestive enzymes are lower. The true threat, which we frequently don't feel right away, is the silent growth of bacteria. Bacteria like Clostridium botulinum or Listeria can silently grow in mushrooms that have been sautéed in butter, oil, and then left at room temperature for an extended period of time, especially if they are improperly stored or reheated at low temperatures. The damage caused by these bacteria might start quietly upsetting the digestive tract or even hurting the nervous system in susceptible elderly people. They don't usually show up with obvious symptoms immediately. You might not experience discomfort or disease right away as a result of this seemingly insignificant error. However, it accumulates. It could manifest as persistent exhaustion, persistent indigestion, or an afternoon that is filled with discomfort rather than tranquility. At a moment in life when every ounce of power counts, it could even manifest as a compromised immunological response. Furthermore, when mushrooms are reheated, a large portion of their nutritious content is lost. Your immune system's once supporting antioxidants deteriorate, providing little protection against oxidative stress and inflammation, which inevitably rise with age. The food you're left with tastes familiar, but it no longer meets your needs. It may seem like a harmless practice to reheat mushrooms, especially in a society that extols convenience. However, it's a habit worth quitting for seniors who are dedicated to preserving their mobility, memory, and health. Instead of becoming a leftover that sits on the burner or in the microwave for too long, let mushrooms be a gift that is savored when they are at their best. 2. Eggs, the subtle transition from food to damage. Many people believe that eggs are among the healthiest and most complete foods available. They stand for simplicity, harmony, and sustenance, a well-known breakfast table mainstay from earlier generations. Eggs provide seniors with high-quality protein and crucial minerals like vitamin D and choline, which are critical for strong bones and a healthy brain. However, there is a little-known fact here. Eggs undergo a negative change in nature when they are reheated. Eggs are safe, easily digested, and incredibly nourishing when prepared for the first time. However, their proteins start to alter in ways that aren't necessarily beneficial to the aging digestive system. Once they cool and are stored, even for just one night, the proteins in cooked eggs solidify and reorganize when they are reheated, particularly in a microwave or high-heat skillet. This makes them more difficult to digest and increases the likelihood that older persons will have indigestion, pain, or bloating. The development of potentially dangerous chemicals is more worrisome. Reheating eggs, particularly those that have been fried or scrambled with oils, can cause the lipids in cholesterol to oxidize, producing compounds that aggravate artery damage and inflammation. These threats are not merely hypothetical. These are biological facts, especially for elderly people who are already dealing with heart disease, high blood pressure, or excessive cholesterol. You may not always pay the price right away. This could be a groggy stomach that lingers throughout the day, a sluggishness that makes you move more slowly, or a fog that makes it difficult to think clearly. The load accumulates over time. Rising cholesterol, low-grade inflammation, and a compromised digestive system are all silent consequences of the well-intentioned habit of reheating eggs from the previous day. It's a minor, seemingly innocuous deed, but warming eggs is a needless strain for a body that has earned its right to softness. Once meant to strengthen your muscles and safeguard your brain, the nutrients might instead work against you if they are treated carelessly after cooking. Eggs can be enjoyed in safer ways. Consume them while they're still fresh and well prepared. When consumed immediately after being boiled or poached, they provide amazing health advantages, but fight the impulse to put them off. Meal by meal, what appears to be convenience might subtly erode your vitality. 3. White potatoes, the comfort that silently betrays. White potatoes bring back fond memories for many senior citizens, holiday feasts, weekend get-togethers, and family dinners when mashed potatoes were lovingly served. They are cozy, well-known, and intricately entwined with many cultures. However, reheating white potatoes can turn a favorite comfort food into a silent danger for elderly people, particularly those who are trying to safeguard their heart circulation and balance. Freshly cooked white potatoes already have a high glycemic index, which indicates that they rapidly convert to sugars, resulting in abrupt increases in blood sugar levels. However, their starch structure alters when they are cooked, cooled, and then reheated, particularly in butter, oil, or cream. This change can worsen insulin resistance and cause inflammatory reactions that impact the blood vessels, nerves, and even the brain, instead of helping the body. Seniors are particularly at risk since aging naturally lessens the body's sensitivity to changes in blood sugar. In addition to contributing to chronic inflammation, which has been connected to everything from joint stiffness to cognitive loss, reheated potatoes can result in post-meal weariness and tingling in the legs and feet. Unaware that high heat can release dangerous chemicals like bisphenol A, BPA, into the food, substances known to disrupt hormone balance and heart health, many seniors also reheat potato-based recipes in plastic containers. The outcome? It's possible that an otherwise harmless plate of leftovers is causing much more harm than good. You pay a small but significant price. After lunch, you can feel even more exhausted, not realizing that the reheated potatoes were the reason for your energy slump. Without recognizing the real cause on your plate, you may experience increased tingling in your feet or stiffness in your knees and attribute it to aging. These little everyday moments add up over time: reduced muscle control, increased blood pressure, poor circulation, and a delayed recovery from disease or trauma. Even more depressing is the fact that white potatoes provide very little defense. They don't have the antioxidants that could counteract their effects, unlike sweet potatoes or other vibrant root vegetables. Yes, they satisfy the stomach, but they don't strengthen the body. They appease the tongue while subtly taxing the system that the elderly must defend. Tradition and warmth are lovely things, but as we get older, we need to learn to distinguish between dietary safety and emotional comfort. Make an informed decision. Allow potatoes to play a role in your history rather than your current recovery. The bigger reality that not everything in the refrigerator deserves a second chance now becomes apparent as we consider these subtle threats concealed in our leftovers. So how can seniors make better eating choices to regain their meals, energy, and independence? The solution starts with tiny, loving movements toward awareness rather than fear. Each meal is a decision, one mouthful at a time. Respect your health. The decisions we make at the dinner table become increasingly important as we get older. Reheating food may seem like a simple daily task, but for seniors, it can subtly influence our independence, vitality, and health. Understanding which meals should not be reheated and which, when properly warmed, can promote your health goes beyond simple dietary guidance. It's a way to honor oneself. In actuality, significant drastic changes are not necessary for aging healthily. It stems from little, regular choices, such as how we treat our leftovers, how we respect our digestive system, and how we safeguard the health of our heart, brain, and legs with each meal. Reheating nutritious foods such as brown rice, warm porridge, or hearty soups does more than simply satisfy your hunger. It communicates to your body that you still care and value life. Additionally, you become closer to freedom when you give up bad habits like reheating white potatoes, eggs, or mushrooms. Freedom from weariness, discomfort, and preventable health problems that all too frequently rob later years of their delight. Convenience might come at a slight but long-lasting cost. However, awareness comes with an even bigger benefit: stronger steps, improved digestion, improved mental clarity, and perhaps most importantly, a feeling of control over your own health, regardless of age. Therefore, keep in mind that not everything on your plate merits a second chance when you open your refrigerator tomorrow. Pick the things that will nourish you, intentionally reheat, and celebrate this phase of life with the silent power that comes from knowledge rather than whims. Because at the end of the day, each warm meal is more than simply a comfort food. It's a decision to safeguard your future, one bite at a time.